Okay, so Ashes of Creation is a unique take on the MMO experience. Our world structure is dynamic and built to react to the actions of our players. Cities will rise and fall, their populations based on the history of the world as the players create it. Quests will unlock as these populations gather, their needs grow, and secrets are unlocked. As the world's NPC structure is established in real time, players will have the ability to destroy what they've created, paving the way for new development, new populations, and real change. Political strife and intrigue will play a very real role in the structure of your world. Gone are the days of static worlds. Change is here to stay.
Yes, definitely. And I have read about that the static worlds are gone. Um, so there won't be fixed, you know, like the players will heavenly, yeah, not heavenly, heavily influence the game through the node system, through different battles, um, and how you're, affecting I mean, just the game. Period. The players are going to make every day when you log into. I was telling Missy earlier. Every day you log into this game, it sounds like it's going to be different. Something's going to happen, or something's about to happen, and you're like, what? So, um, yeah. So, I guess to kind of start off here, so release wise, right? Right now we are in Alpha 1. Um, as far as I can tell, or they're about to release Alpha 1. Um, and when they do that, which is pretty cool, as you can see right here, no NDA. So Steven really wants this game to be open, and he wants everyone to see it and give their opinions, good and bad, right? Like I said, it's a double-edged sword when you're trying to get people's opinions on things, because when you make a game, you want it to be your game, which I think you should, to be honest. And if people want to play it, they'll play it, because I think that's what like Yoshi P and his team did with Square Enix. Um, you know, they design the game as they want it. They do take player feedback to change things around. But WoW itself right now, to be honest, has been fully democratic design. And now that they're trying to constrict that in Shadowlands, now they're getting the backlash. You can't give freedom and then take it away. It doesn't work like that. So, so hopefully,
And
like I said, what was that?
well, no, I was just saying, there's a really good wrap up of this game. That's set in a high fantasy world, open world. And it says Ashes of Creation takes place within a medieval fantasy setting, blending imagination with cutting edge graphics. We're putting the word massive back into massively multiplayer with unique and novel mechanics that will bring meaning to player action. Ashes of Creation will incorporate the best parts of traditional MMORPGs with innovative sandbox concepts. You will choose your fate at every opportunity. Quest lines will open and close based on the interactions of the players within their world, because this is a world where choice is consequential. Monsters will roam and grow in ferocity as civilization disrupts the natural order of things. From the location of towns to the size of cities, you will determine the landscape of your world. It will be unique in culture, ecology, and economy.
Yep, definitely.
And that's pretty neat actually, because I don't really know of anything else that's quite like that, to be honest.
All right.
That you're basically kind of creating your own game within the game. You are creating your own situations. The game is adapting and evolving around the choices basically that you make.
Yeah, that's really awesome because I mean, how long, like I said, we're gonna be like Asmongold, we're make a 5 minute video, lasts for an hour, um, because we're just at the beginning here.
Easily done.
um, yeah, I mean, how many times I mean, I played WoW for 12 years, Final Fantasy for over 7 years now. Um, and uh, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, because these games are, linear, um, in a lot of their systems, right? So when you level up once in Final Fantasy, and you open up and if you do another character, it's a whole same story again, same thing, because it's so, you do this to do this to this to this to this. This game, Ashes of Creation, is going to be, you do this, and then you can go do this, but it still isn't like, and then you come back to this, and then like, oh, I'm tired of that, so I go back to this, but everything that you're doing is leveling you up, and also affecting the world in some way. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
So Alpha 2, as far as the releases, going back to it real quick, is people hit me up on Discord. Let me see here. Okay. So Alpha 2, I think there's no date on here, but I think they were trying to do something for early next year. And I think Alpha 1, as you see, it says fall 2020. Missy should definitely be getting into Alpha 2 once she pre-orders hers. I'm still waiting for my perfect package to come out, so we'll kind of talk about those a little bit later. But definitely October this month was her perfect themed package to pre-order the game. So she will be in Alpha 2 and Beta 1 and Beta 2. So.
And streaming it.
Yeah, because like I said, that no NDA is huge.
Something we were looking for because we weren't sure if we were going to be allowed to stream them.
Yeah.
As we can see, yeah, we can.
So definitely. So as you see, this game is massive just from the little contents here. And this is just the overview. You click into one of these, and then it takes you to like 10 other different things, and yeah. So we're going to scroll down to nodes here. So nodes, like I said, we're not going to get into particulars in this video, this stream, but I guess we will start with this little description right here, and then I guess if you want to read this one, Missy, and then also the preset location thing on the side there too. So I guess this one and that one.
Okay, nodes are the heart of the world. They create the ebb and flow of life. At their core, nodes are preset points in the world wrapped in a zone of influence and surrounded by geographic areas that change over time based upon player participation. The world map is divided into regions, with each region containing multiple nodes. As a node advances, it influences the type of content within itself and the surrounding areas. Players do not create nodes, but if they are part of the government for a specific node, they have the ability to influence diplomacy and modify building types, construction, and services within that node. There will be 103 node locations at launch, each with its own impact on the narrative and development of the world. Nodes are a preset location wrapped in a zone of influence in our world that can form into towns of different sizes. These sizes range from a small camp to a sprawling metropolis. The size of the towns depends on the contribution by players and how far they've advanced the node. Players do not create the footprint of a node, but within that footprint, they do have the ability to own land. Players who are a part of the government for a specific node will have the ability to modify building types and services further, but for the most part, a node will grow along with its own specific path. Think about this more as NPCs building these towns out, rather than PCs individually putting buildings and walls up. A node's contribution area is larger than the actual town itself, allowing for players to adventure while building upon the town. We call the contribution area the node's zone of influence, and it's the area where players help to advance the node they are in.
Yep. So as far as, like I said, nodes, it's a huge like concept for this game. Like I said, it's the heart of the game, to be honest. So we're going to deep dive into this and do another video, another stream. But for right now, so nodes are assigned one of 4 node types. So they can either be divine nodes, which their specialization is going to be faith and skill/equipment augment focuses. And your NPCs that you're going to see around those are going to be like priests, right? So it's going to be like a big church city, like the Vatican. Then you have economic nodes, which is trade and merchant focuses. So, and then you're going to have merchants everywhere. So what's cool is if you're like, hey, I want to be a merchant, a high trader making my money, then you'd probably go and try to find an economic node in the world and put all your time and effort into building that up. And then it'll be like, you'd be like a hut, and that would be your Tatooine. And you're just owning it with the trades and, merchandise and all that stuff.
As long as you're not a Jabba the Hutt.
No. Well, I think they're technically, I don't think any of the huts are good, to be honest, but
No. Jabba being the word.
Right. Military nodes, of course. So combat and class training focuses. Guards will be your NPCs. Specific or scientific nodes, artisans and construction focuses. And you have scholar NPCs there. So definitely, right here, it says right here. Ashes of Creation allows you, the player, to decide the fate of the world around you. With each node type, you can change the flow of resources and goods in the world. Will you grow the largest economic metropolis and help guide the riches of Vera? Or will you choose another path, unlocking new stories filled with allies and enemies? So what's cool is you could technically, like I said, you could have this economic metropolis, but that metropolis can technically... there was a Star Wars reference, right? We're all over the place here, man. It's all good, Justin. But these nodes don't stay Metropolis. Like if players decide, or the whim of the players, if like a war node, a military node's like, hey, we're taking out this Metropolis, just so because, and we're going to get into this, and then we'll just go right into it, is node advancement. So you level up your nodes, and I'm going to do a little video here to kind of show you. But you start as a wilderness. There's nothing there, but you'll see the node probably, but there won't be anything there. And then per questing and gathering and crafting and all that stuff, it'll add experience. Like I said, you do stuff in that area, that zone of influence, ZOI. You'll be seeing a lot of the node ZOIs here. Will add experience to that node, and it'll level up to an expedition. And it says time frame to advance. So you have a few hours all the way up to many weeks to get a metropolis, for example. And what's cool about this, like I said, I'm going to show a little quick video here. And so I don't think there's any sound to this. And if there is, turn it down a little bit here. I don't think there was any sound. So this is the wilderness right here. All you have is a little fire, and you're going to see it go up. So this is stage 1 expedition. And then stage 2, this is your encampment. Stage 3, this is your village. And then stage 4 is your town. So, and this is just you playing the game, and this is happening because you're playing in that zone of influence. City, this is a city, stage 5. And then your big boy, stage 6. It'll come up here in a second, is Metropolis. So as you see, a lot of these things kind of look different, right? So with that, if you are, let's say, the majority of the people in your area, and I think the different races will have different starting zones, divine gates, practically, that you enter the world into per the lore, but like I said, we'll get into that a little later. So if you have a bunch of elves in one area, and you start working on that node is going to reflect that elfin architecture. Or if you're an orc architecture. And like I said, there's two different types of orcs, two different types of humans, two different types of elves, two different types of dwarves. So they kind of do split them off a little bit, which is pretty cool. Like, even though they're a dwarf, they definitely make them look different, feel totally different. Like I said, we'll be going through each one of those because I think that's important, it's just so you guys can see the races. So quickly, to kind of finish up nodes, I wanted to... So what this is right here, it might be kind of a little cut off on the bottom there. So this is the zone of influence here. So let's say this 6 right here was the first big boy node that started off, and because people in this zone of influence right here, you can't have 2 6s, right? So it looks like they're having at least 5s, 4s, and 3s. So you can't have a bunch of 6s in one area, because that 6 is going to start dominating the others. As you can see, the 5s, so those 5s will start influencing the 4s and then the 3s, and they become vassal nodes, vassal states. So, you know, if this was like Denver, and these would be your suburbs, Thornton, Aurora, all that stuff, and then this is like little towns within those things, you know. So it's pretty cool how they kind of have that that set up. And like I said, this could just be one setup, but if like a war node come over here, like I said, this is an economic one, a war one can come over here, and it's like, you're stopping our progression. Well, guess what? That war node can start screwing with 5 and 4 and 3, and then they could slowly work their way into actually tearing down 6. And if they tear down 6, then that war node can get bigger and maybe even take over this 5. So it's a living, breathing world, and not just, like, this will not stay the same in the game as far as what we've been told. This is going to be always in flux. So that's pretty cool. So, did you have any questions on nodes, Missy?
No.
Okay, like I said, we're going to deep dive more into that in another stream / video. And there's also node sieges. So as I was telling about, if one node is wanting to go to battle, you have node sieges, and this enables a players to be like, I think we're done with this economic node. Let's go and let's build a military node, so that then they tear it down.